What even is time? If you've ever told your Desi or South Asian friend, hey, let's meet at 5, and they've showed up significantly late, you've just experienced what South Asians refer to as Desi Standard Time. But what I'm here to tell you today is that this isn't just tardiness, and not because we just love drama. This is history, cultural resistance, and some deep-rooted Desi Sharam at play, and let me explain why. Hello fam, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina Khan. I am an immigrant cultural researcher, and on this channel I talk about South Asian culture, history, immigration, art, and all the spicy topics in between. If you're interested in any of those topics, let's hang. Also, welcome to my backyard. It's a beautiful warm day in Melbourne today, and so I thought, why not change things up a bit and try this from my backyard. To understand Desi time, we need to first zoom out a bit and explore how different cultures actually understand time. In the West, time is what Edward T. Hall has described as monochronic. This means time moves in a straight line, one thing at a time, punctuality is key, being on time is seen as basic respect. However, in South Asia, time behaves differently. Here, we lean more on what Hall describes as polychronic time, meaning we juggle multiple things at once, and time bends and stretches based on relationships, feelings, and experiences, not schedules. It's more fluid, elastic, and social, not rigid and transactional. Time exists to serve people, not the other way around. The event actually starts when the right people arrive, or when the vibe is right, not when the clock says so. That's why you'll often see that a South Asian wedding invite might say 7 p.m. on the invite, but it actually starts when Nusrat Puppo's makeup is done and when the bride and groom's sides finish their family photos. Now this is where it gets juicier. In many South Asian communities, being exactly on time comes with its own sense of sharam. It's like a culturally coded sense of embarrassment. If you show up exactly at 7 p.m. for a 7 p.m. invitation, it might look like you had nothing better to do, like you were just waiting at the door clutching your gift-wrapped box of laddus. This relationship with time also connects to a sense of izzat or social standing. Being a bit late shows that you're important enough to be delayed. It signals that you have a thriving, busy life. Your lateness is almost a flex. This is why you'll hear so many Desi uncles say, I was so busy yaar, when actually all they did was discuss inflation and the rising price of onions on the family WhatsApp group. Now, of course, we have to talk about colonialism, because how can we not? This whole obsession with time discipline, that came from the British. Clocks, schedules, the entire time is money hustle culture that was imposed. And let's be honest, our ancestors were not fans. Before the British came along with their clocks and timetables, most South Asian societies followed seasonal time, prayer time, and agricultural rhythms. Then the British imposed clock time, a rigid industrial time system. Showing up on time became a way to signal that you were properly civilized. Historian Dipesh Chakrabarty, in Provincialising Europe, explains how colonial timekeeping tried to erase local rhythms, but people often resisted by clinging to cultural and indigenous ways of organizing time. So being casually late was seen as a small, everyday act of defying colonial discipline. This was also noted in research conducted by Vivek about early South Asian immigrants to the US, especially Bengali peddlers who operated on flexible Desi time, even in a hyper-scheduled industrial America. They adjusted just enough to get by, but kept their own time practices alive. So I like to think that every time I show up late to an event, I'm not being lazy or procrastinating. I'm resisting empire. I'm basically a decolonizing time warrior. The reality, however, is actually more complicated. South Asians, especially immigrants like myself living in the West, live in a kind of a time sandwich, the sense of being squeezed between two different systems of time. At work, school, and within Western social communities, we tend to follow Western time rules, being punctual, meeting deadlines, schedules, everything. But at home and within our own cultural spaces, it is pure Desi Standard Time. This dual time zone management is sometimes mentally exhausting. And sometimes these two systems clash. Like when you tell your partner to be ready for work or a uni event at 6 and they're taking their own sweet Desi time and still deciding what to wear at 5:45. This phenomenon has been explained by anthropologist Arjun Appadurai, who talks about how migrants are living in interstitial space, caught between the time of the homeland and the hostland, always switching and adjusting, literally and metaphorically, depending on what you're doing, which spaces you're in, and who you're with. So, next time when someone complains you're late, just tell them it's not my fault. It's centuries of colonial resistance and social performance baked into my DNA. If you want me to unpack more weird and wonderful Desi habits, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop your most epic late story in the comments. See you next time, probably late. Take care.